face of a stranger. Quiet observer, never get too close. I see the world, but it's through this window. Another side to see, I'm ready to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. He's from the city, she's from the south. Two different chapters told miles out. That back row living in his White House. So many stories that I need to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. So many stories right in front of me. Some people climb to heights I've never seen. Too many falling down off their feet. These stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. Why you're
Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to the first Sunday stream for Silverline Live. We're gonna think of a cool, clever title somewhere, sometime along the way. But per popular demand, you all demanded it, so we're giving it to you. You wanted more streams per week, and we were growing in numbers, so this was the perfect opportunity for us to stream twice a week. So. But we're going to kind of keep the same format that we've been doing regularly on Wednesday. So we're not going to change everything. So you're going to be used to what you've been seeing on Wednesdays. So I am the host. My name is Roland Mann, and I'm kind of the chief wrangler at Silverline. See, right? I've even got a cool little banner to go right here with me now. So. And I'm going to go, we've got a couple of new people with us, so I'm going to hold them for last. But we've got some usual, so I'll just, I'll point you guys out and you introduce yourselves, tell people who you are and what you do. So first up on my murderer's row here is Kurtis. Kurtis, tell everybody who you are.
Hello, I'm Kurtis Fujita. I'm an illustrator, animator, and concept artist, and I am currently the creative director at Silverline and the editor on K-List.
Woot! Becca, tell folks who you are.
Hello, hi, I'm Rebecca Winslow. I am currently an inker for Something Big for Silverline, which is the name of the comic.
Oh, I thought that was just kind of like you were talking yourself up.
Yeah. I'm also the colorist for Marauder. Did I say that right?
You did.
Yeah. Okay, and Friar Rush. That's also Silverline.
Excellent. Yep. So Friar Rush, for those who know, Friar Rush, or who don't know, I should say, Friar Rush is the brand spanking new project. Marauder is Becca's coloring the black and white version so that we can re-release it in color. So thank you, Becca. And then we got Aaron Humphres.
Hey, I'm the artist on the Friar Rush, the upcoming project from Silverline, and I'm working on some other cool stuff for Friar Rush as we speak. So hopefully that'll be some cool stuff coming up soon.
And you've also got your own.
Yeah, I've got my own comic book, Godlings, which I have on my website, and I do other stuff too. Yeah,
of course, we're here to promote Friar Rush, of course. But, but we want folks to know what else you do too. So that's very cool. Tommy, why don't you tell folks who you are?
My name is, well, everybody calls me Tommy, but it's Thomas Florimonte Jr. You guys can find me all over the internet, but I've been a comic book creator since the early 90s, mostly inking, but I do drawing, the pencil and the coloring, the writing, all that kind of stuff. I'm also currently for Silverline inking a book called Trumps. It's themed after the card playing game, you know, where you lay the trumps down, card playing game.
Not the card playing game, but a card playing game.
Right? There you go. Look, so you got some. Oh man, I should bring out some cards next time.
I got
Wednesday. I'll have some cards.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have some cards when we do the. Can't talk about that.
Don't be a joker, Tommy.
Oh, I'm not. But I'm also the co-owner of the premier print-on-demand service Kablam, and also part of and do a lot of technical stuff for Roland and the Silverline gang and all that kind of stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
So the first of our new joinees tonight is Mike W. Belcher. So I gotta say a little few words, Mike, and then you can tell people who you are. So I met Mike let me rephrase that. I met Mike years ago,
quote unquote.
And this goes back probably to the late 90s, I think.
Oh yeah, easily, yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know it was that long. Wow.
Yep. Because hold on, I gotta turn my email off here. It's loud and screaming in my ears. Students are probably wanting stuff. Way back when Mike actually did some. Forgive me, Mike. I don't remember which project it was that you lettered back then. But I know you did. I know you did something, and then we had talked about lots of other things, and we kind of stayed in contact over the years. And then Mike got involved with a convention local to where Mike lives. You're one of it's not his convention, but he's like one of the big mucky mucks of the show. So when you
I get to recruit people.
Yes, you get to recruit cool comics. So if you love the comic guest list from the Pikeville Comic Con, you get to thank Mike for that, because he's the one who gets those guests in.
What state is that in?
That's in Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Kentuck. Yep.
Yes.
So that's my little brief intro. Mike, tell everybody who you are.
Hi guys, I'm Mike W. Belcher. Hey, I'm a letterer, I'm a graphic designer, and I love comics. You know, that's just the best way to describe me. I lettered Kalis, I think #2, and then Twilight Grim and Divinity. You know, both #1s.
Yep.
And I guess what we decide on, production designer? Is that what we decided on? My official title was?
I think so.
I believe that was what it was.
Yep. I thought I had a Man in the Mask right now. You also do your own.
I do my own comic. Yes, you gotta have it handy. You don't
know,
on anything.
I used to have it right here. It was sitting right here, but it must swap place with my tablet now. So
okay, well, you know, that's okay. You got to put the priorities. But yeah, I do my own comic. I write and draw. Yeah, my own comic, Man in the Mask, which my son colors, Aiden, who is also a little bit of a Silverline with.
That's right.
The Elder Switchblade.
He sure did. Which is completely finished, and we are just waiting for the right opportunity to pop that Switchblade entire thing in color. Pop the Switchblade, ha ha ha. Yep, it's ready to go though. So yeah, so Mike, glad you could join us here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mike, is this your first ever stream?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you probably can tell I'm not exactly Mr. Photogenic, but
no. Hey, you've got the important thing is you came equipped with the earbuds or headset. That's usually where you can tell when someone kind of says, oh no, they have no headphones or earbuds, and you kind of get the echoes and stuff like that.
Well, I wanted to make sure I could hear everybody. I'm sure everybody's got a lot of things I want to listen to, so I want you guys to make sure you hear me. But real quick, the Scary Book. The last issue of Scary Book, that was the first thing I lettered back at. Well, I guess Silverline 2.0. I helped you out with Silverline 2.0.
That was it. Yep, that was the late 90 version. Yep, very cool. Yep. Thank you. I'm glad you remembered that. Yeah, so shoot, I was going to say something else. I'm sure it was earth-shattering, but I can't remember what it was now. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is, for Aaron's Guidelings and Mike's Man in the Mask, I'm going to make sure that I put links wherever you find us, whether it's going to be on Facebook or Twitch or on YouTube. We apparently are not live streaming there, but I'll put the video on there. I'll make sure links to everybody here, their social media and the books and stuff like that are all there, so folks can go see.
Thanks.
Last but not least, we are joined from across the pond. Now, Pete, is this your first stream ever as well?
Yes, it is.
So for not only his first appearance with Silverline, but his first stream as well, we have Pete Clinton. So I here's the thing, confession time, y'all. I don't really know a whole lot about Pete, but here are the things I can tell you. Okay, so you've heard me say all Wednesdays how Alex Gallimore has become the recruiter supreme for Silverline, and Alex has reached out to all kinds of his QB classmates. And when I say QB, for those who aren't following me here, I'm talking about the Kubert School, which is a school that teaches artists sequential art, basically comic book art. And comic book school. So Alex has reached out to a whole bunch of his classmates, which is kind of how Becca got here with us. Becca was probably, I'm going to say, recruit #1. I think so. I have to go back and look at my list, but yeah, I think so. But anyway, Alex has been reaching out, and we had another project, and he said, hey, I know this other guy. Take a look at this stuff. I reached out to Pete. Pete said, hey man, that's really cool. I need a little bit of time because I'm graduating and I'm finishing up the school, and I gotta hitch a boat back to the island that I live on, and give me some time. And I think you said the 1st of June, and I hit you up 1st of June, and now tell people who you are, Pete.
I think you basically covered it. Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know what else to say.
So are you a
what
graduate?
time is it? That'd be the big thing. What time is it?
What time is it there?
It's a warm 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I grabbed a few hours sleep and woke myself up just
5 hours.
5 hours ahead of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to remember
Not
that.
too bad,
5
actually.
hours.
This is usually I clock off around 8 p.m. 8 p.m. pens down, and I've made an exception for this.
So I can tell now we're going to have interesting streams here, because I'm sure we're going to have to stop you every now and Pete and ask you to translate that for us, right? So your Mike's from Kentucky. Tommy and I are both from Mississippi. So Aaron is from Oregon. Kurtis is from California. Becca's from New Jersey. Yeah. So we kind of have to translate for each other sometimes. Like, what the heck, Becca, does that mean for these New Jersey speak, right? So we may have to do that, and if you need us to do that as well, just say time out. What does that mean?
I lived in New Jersey for 3 years at the school, so
so you speak Becca.
Yeah. I'm used to people just staring at me as I have no idea what I've said, and or getting stopped in the shops. Can you just talk some more because you sound English? Yeah, it's okay.
So we recommend to all of our viewers to go watch Downton Abbey, and then
definitely,
and then you'll be able to understand everything Pete says.
I like to drop it in a conversation, but I am a lord. It's a title my friends bought for me, so it doesn't mean anything.
That's the way it works over there, though, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You just buy your titles. So Pete, talk about what you're doing if you feel comfortable with it.
You're happy to do that? We haven't decided on a title yet, have we?
No.
But we're just calling it Champion and Miss Fury.
Yeah.
And you came to me and you said you got this idea for a 3-story featuring Miss Fury, which is I knew from June Tarpe Mills's character.
Right.
And I thought she was super cool. So you sort of had me at that. I was like, right, yeah.
Cool.
I'll draw her all day long. That's cool. And she has a very straightforward costume as well. So I thought that's even better. That makes life a lot easier. And you sent me the character designs you had for Champion, and he looks awesome. So I've just this week I've started getting to grips with those. I'm going to be drawing some Miss Fury tonight, I think. So I love her costume.
Sweet.
But, so and then it started this weekend was layouts for the first few pages, which I need to translate over to.
So you got to remind me. I only sent you the first 5 pages, right? Or
you sent me the script. You sent me the script for the first issue, yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
I remember that I had to go back in and make a change because I had made a mistake about his family, and it didn't. It only affected one page, but I can remember. I thought I remember just sending you like the first scene and saying, okay, here it is. You could start on this, and then following. And I wasn't sure if I followed that back up with the rest.
I think that's what you said you were going to do, and then you hit me with the whole script. I thought, cool, we'll just go over this.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, good. Yeah, I just had to go back in and make one little change for it. And I should also tell folks that we're working Marvel style for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for people who don't know, there's generally 2 different ways to do comic scripts when you're writing comics. Marvel and DC do not own these styles, but they're often referred to as Marvel style and DC style. Yeah. And the difference is DC writes a full script in which they say, page 1, panel 1, this is what's on the panel. This is the text that's in the panel. Panel 2, here's what you're going to draw. Here's the text in panel 2, panel 3, and so on and so on. It looks very much like a film script. Hey, Brett, you want to pop up somebody arting and throw us over to the side while we're doing this now? You don't see. Somebody's got to share.
Jump up in there. You want me to?
Yeah, Becca.
Okay. I can do it.
Throw it Becca first. Yeah.
Oh yes. Sorry.
And so that's the DC method, and then the Marvel method is where it's funny because my students will answer this question, and their answer is something like Marvel method is where you just give a general outline of what's happening, and I'm like, well, that's not exactly it's not general outline. They a short. Anyway, so the Marvel method is where you say page 1, this is what happens on page 1. Page 2, this is what happens on page 2. And you focus on the action on the page and not on the actual dialogue. And often that gives pencilers a greater freedom to design the page without having to take dialogue and thoughts and captions into consideration, they can
And you
design.
normally script it at the end, kind of
Yep.
a thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
After the pencils and inks, or at least the pencils.
Yep.
Then you. But the DC way is usually the script is pretty much there already, so the penciler knows where to leave space and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yep, no, absolutely. Yep. And so so going back to the project is that we've been calling it Champion and Miss Fury. We need a title. We need a title for that. And so I've been talking to the CEO here, been talking to BJ. We may end up running some kind of contest about help us name.
Oh, that's cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, help us name the project, and
let's call it Thomas.
Well, so one of the examples I give, Tommy, and you remember this, right? So we have a Silverline did 2 miniseries, a volume 1 and a volume 2, called Silver Storm.
Yes.
Now the Silver Storm was consisted of 2 characters, one of whom was named Silver Dollar, and the other was Tempest. So we came up with, I don't even remember. I wish I could give credit for whoever came up with the ideal. I don't remember, but we like, Tempest she's a storm, and Silver Dollar, well, he's an armored dude. So if we combine them somehow, we get a Silver Storm. So we like that quite a bit, and that's kind of something like what I'd like to do with Champion and Miss Fury. So Champion is the designs that Pete's working off of was designed by our longtime good friend Stephen Butler. Champion first appeared in Cat and Mouse way back in the day. I'm talking 1990, maybe 91. I don't know, like probably 90, I think.
It was a good year.
That's year you were born?
Good
year.
Lord.
Yeah, it was a good year.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Champion has appeared in a couple of different miniseries. He was in the Silver Storm miniseries. He was in the Demon Tales miniseries. And
I was going to say, I remember inking him in Demon Tales.
Yep, you sure did. And so he was kind of a popular spinoff character from Cat and Mouse. And so he's finally getting to tell his own story here. So we're excited about that. And that's what Pete is going to be busy drawing for us. So Becca, since you've got artwork on the screen, just tell us briefly what that is.
This is a page for something big I'm working on. Well, reworking on, because I may have accidentally inked this page at a DPI of 130 instead of 300. So always make sure that you check your DPI before you start working.
Otherwise, you have to do it again.
Oh, yeah.
So as one who doesn't know, explain to me how you can accidentally ink at 130 DPI instead of 300 DPI. How does a mistake like that happen?
Yeah, how does a mistake like that
happen? Well, if your name is Rebecca Winslow, it's very easy to happen because you just get caught up in like wanting to start a project so fast, like just get into it, that you overlook the DPI. I made sure it was at 11 by 17.
So
was the DPI that I made myself post-it notes to remember. I deleted all the other ways, like if you go into, like, if you see this little plus button up here,
right,
I deleted everything else. So the only canvas I have is 11 by 17. That's at a DPI of 300. So I will not make that mistake again.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get the pencils, they come in, and when you're setting it up to start inking, you don't realize that maybe they were scanned at a wrong size or whatever, and then you just pull them up and start inking, and then you realize, I didn't fix it.
Double check.
Yeah, didn't double check, and you just start inking. Yeah.
So what you're saying, if I'm hearing correctly, Tommy, you're saying that it's possible that the pencil scan that she had could have been 72 DPI?
Could have been.
Or 130, I think is what she said.
Yeah.
It could, very well. Yeah, usually when I do my stuff, I all the digital things, I leave the, I have like a default page that I set up, and I pull the pencils into it, and then I start saving, and then I rename that, and then just so that way I try to make sure I keep the resolution the right size and stuff. But that's
Kablam has
probably
some
what
really
happened.
good templates. Kablam has some really good templates on their
Oh
site.
yeah, we should do.
Really good stuff. They do.
Yeah, good plug there. Curtis remembers that. I'm still trying to get a sponsor here. Yeah, so okay, very cool. Yeah, I'm really excited about this project. I think it's going to be I think it's another one that fans are going to like. I love this is a spinoff from Sid Williams' Scary Book, and I was a huge fan of the Scary Book, and so to be able to see more, I think Sid does an awesome job. He's a horror novelist, but there's a lot of humor in this, and I think Sid does an awesome job in this. So big news of the week. DC, big news, yeah. Big news is DC fires Diamond.
Oh yeah, that's what they sure did.
I mean, that's not the topic of tonight, but I figure we cannot have a stream and not address that just a little bit, right?
Yeah, I don't understand why people tell me. I tried to read up a little bit about it. I don't understand why people are the comic shops are so upset about it. Explain to me why they're so upset. They're just going to get their books from someplace else, but why are they so upset?
It's added cost. That's another shipment they got to pay for, instead of getting everything from Diamond. Despite the fact that all they do is complain about Diamond, at least until
that's true.
This started.
Wait. There's not an added shipment though.
Well,
you're paying Diamond to get the books, and then you're going to pay this new company to pay the books too. I mean, isn't that basically?
No. I believe I'm not gonna, that's not a hill I'm gonna die on, but I believe you're wrong in that. I believe that there's just no Diamond, and these comic shops
but they're paying for Diamond for like Mal.
They gotta get them shipped
Dark
from
Horse and Image.
I see what you're saying. I see
they're still having to pay. DC's only got one distributor, but Diamond's still got Dark Horse and Image and Boom. So those are two different charges. So those guys have to pay two different things.
Yeah, but they're for now. This is just me talking out my rear. The shop owner people that I know have the books when they come from Diamond are coming from UPS. That's the shipping is based off of weight. Mm-hmm. So how is that going to be? They're still paying for the same amount of weight. It's just coming from different.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
so that's the reason.
But they're upset. There's a lot of folks I was reading that they're just, this is the end of the comic book. We're never going to have DC books ever again. And I'm like, why? I just don't understand why.
So basically, you're saying that there was a monopoly. They've broken the monopoly, and now they want the monopoly back.
Oh yeah.
Is this the train of thought?
I don't know. That's why I was y'all explain it to me. I don't.
Aaron, are you old enough to remember the breakup of Ma Bell? That's a serious question. Are you old enough to remember that?
No, I don't think I remember that.
You remember that, don't you, Tommy?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh! After it happened, everyone was yelling for Ma Bell to come back because the phone service there for a brief period of time was terrible. Yeah, it was horrible. But because everything was, it's not Ma Bell. What was it just called? Bell?
AT&T.
No, this is before then.
But then was AT&T broke up once before?
Bell.
That's, I don't. You know what? I don't know. It just used to be, I don't know, Bell is all I can remember. But when they broke that up, AT&T was a long distance service. You had to have a service, a long distance service.
Yeah, you had like a local. That's right.
Yeah. And then they busted it up into all the different. They basically busted the monopoly, and so then you had the regional Bells. That's why, Tommy, we were on Bell South, right? Because we were that part of the region of it. Yep. But everyone was complaining because the phone systems after the bust up of the monopoly, it was terrible. Now eventually it kind of righted itself, but it was bad for a couple of years. And so we used to pay a lot of money in long distance.
Are the shop owners thinking that that's just going to mess up their supply of books? I mean, what have you read? Because that's, this is kind of new.
I'm going to wait and let someone else chime in, but I think I know why.
I haven't read anything, but I did see a hashtag from, and it might have been Mahai Comics that had something like hashtag DC sucks. It was like a sale.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a joke or if that was real. And I was like,
yeah,
I was like, that's a little harsh, man. I mean, I don't know.
all the big guys, Mahal Comics and Golden Apple and Brian Hibbs, all those guys are very anti this. Everything that I've kind of scanned over is, the shipping, just the pain in the butt of having to do two different, things instead of having one thing. Which is, like I said, I think it's funny because before all this happened, I don't know anybody that didn't complain about Diamond. Between the conditions of the book and the shipments that the stores would get and the returns and trying to get a book on time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and what about before Diamond became the one place? They were getting books from different, like, you remember Capital and all that kind of stuff, the other distributors, and most of the shops I knew were ordering, double dipping, triple dipping. They were getting stuff from all over the place. So I don't want to say anything because people are watching this, but I just don't know. I don't know. People are watching this going, well, I know what's going on. I don't know. And maybe I should.
I don't know. I just read the headline. That was it. I read the headline and I have yet to dive into what it means and the ramifications. I just saw it and I was like, oh.
No, I looked, what was it, late last night, early this morning, for about an hour or two, and it was nothing but just, this is terrible, this is bad. We're never going to get any more of the, not that they don't want to order the books, it's like, we're just not going to be able to get them anymore. And I'm like, I don't understand why not. Nobody's explaining why they're not going to be able to get the books.
They went with a different distributor. After Diamond shut down during COVID, they went with a different distributor.
Yes.
And I take it that's the one they went with and left Diamond. I just assume, like, okay, that seems like an obvious, like, move. I mean, if they were going with a different distributor setting up, then it just made sense that DC would just be like, oh, well, we'll just go with these guys because, Diamond's getting back on their feet. Like, they made a preliminary move and they decided to stick with their move towards. I don't know the name of the new distributor. I heard it before. I forgot the name.
I forgot
There's two. They're doing one for the graphic.
I can't remember it, but I think the other reason that the retailer or those big guys are mad is because the new distributors are retailers because they're really Midtown Comics and the discount.
But it's not like they're a retailer in their city. So what does it matter? What does it really matter?
Well, I think it's because
all right, Roland knows. All right, Roland, no, tell us, Daddy.
I know. Roland's like, quiet. I will tell you all.
No. I wanted to hear the discussion first. I have obviously, you kind of got to keep up with a little bit of this, right? If you're gonna go make comics and get them out there. And there's been so much on it. I haven't read everything. But part of it is because the two new distributors are comic shops, but it's also because they sell comics online, right? And so the concern is all these other comic shops that are going to order from them are going to be getting the same discount as the customers. And so their concern is that how can I compete with you when you're selling to your customer at the same price you're selling to me, because I can't sell at that price. I then have to tack on my charges, right? My upcharge to sell to my customer base. So why would my customer base come to me when they can just go to you and buy online from you cheaper?
So basically, they're undercutting all the shops by being the distributor.
That's the fear. I don't know that I don't know that I've ever seen the reality to that, but that is the fear. Is that. Yeah,
I could see that. I mean, I can see, if
too.
anything, I could see, some of those people maybe strong-arming other comic shops, and comic shops seem to be so tenuous anyways in their business that they don't need anything else really affecting them, anymore.
Yeah, so we have several folks are watching us here online. Hello to everyone who's posting on there. Sid said he read about the deal where the two distributors for DC. So what he's saying is that if you want to buy comic books, you're going to have to order through one of these new distributors. And if you want to buy trade paperbacks and graphic novels, you're going to have to order through a different distributor. So they're concerned that they don't have one place to go to for DC product. They have two places that they've got to go to.
Well, that's kind of knuckleheaded.
It is. Yeah, it is. I agree, and I'm not sure, but I think there's a lot of folks who do that already because, and I can't remember the publisher. I'm sorry, the distributor. I apologize for that. If someone on the stream can remember, yeah, and Wubba says, the industry's been begging for the end of Diamond stranglehold, and now that they're acting like it's the end of times.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tim TK says a bunch of indie publishers have a positive reaction, which is kind of my reaction. My reaction is kind of like, hey, I think this is good because this ultimately could help Silverline, because for Silverline to get into comic shops right now, we have to, or with the Diamond model, right? We have to go through the gatekeeper that is Diamond. Now, because we've got some longtime industry folks, and because we still have connections with Diamond, I feel pretty good about our chances. But still, there is a possibility that Diamond can just say, no, we don't want to carry any Silverline titles because we just we don't want to add the extra work. They could do that. So then what are we going to do? What are our options? Well, from my perspective, having other distribution options are really good, because now we've got two different distributors that can possibly be a source
way to get your books out.
Right. Yeah. Way to get Silverline titles out. So yeah, it's hard for me to see this as a negative, because as Tommy, as you mentioned, I remember the day when we had a dozen distributors, and competition is good. I think competition is good.
I kind of think it's like even though we have an Amazon that you can go buy pretty much all your stuff, don't you still run to Walmart every now and again and get all you go get? I think they're still gonna. They may get their stuff online, but they're still gonna go to their store. The comic. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
I think that's an interesting thing, is because it's like, if people are concerned about the online component, people being competition for them, that really says a lot to confidence as far as the local comic book shop. I mean, have things transitioned that far online that would be such a big concern for the local shop? I'm just asking.
I don't know.
If I really wish I would have thought if you would have told me that this was where you were wanting to go. I know a guy that owns a shop that one of the bigger shops in Biloxi. I could have called and find out what he thought about it, and I would have had some more insight. But so I apologize for not having
that's okay.
The information.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all good. This is just kind of this is kind of for us to kick around anyway. I don't know that we're going to even with that information. I don't know that we can resolve it. So Brett tells me he can't swap artist if you're not sharing screens. So somebody else.
Well, when one of us starts to share, it kicks the other one off.
Okay.
So we can only have. So whenever you want to do another one, you just have to tell us.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Brett to kind of keep an eye on the clock and just send you a message when he wants you to start sharing. And then you just start sharing, and I guess it just automatically kicked the other one off, right?
Yeah.
5 minutes. 5 minutes is good. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Brett's talking to me in my ear. Yes, Brett, if you would please send them a message. Do you all have your chat open so you can see the chat if it's posted on there? And oh, okay. Yeah, we don't want them to see your stream. So on Facebook, then. Yeah, Facebook chat. Brett will send you all a message. So the ones to be drawn, Rebecca's already up there, and then you've got Pete, Tommy, and Aaron. Okay. 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 So Pete, what about across the pond? How does this affect distribution over there, or at all, or do you know?
Well, actually, when I got back, I went to my local comic shop because I hadn't been there in 3 years. So I thought I'd go, now I'm back and I'm ready to buy again. And he was saying that they don't know how this affects anything outside to the US, because ditching Diamond seem to be the only ones with the global distribution. It's Diamond over here, it's Diamond everywhere else. But the new distributors they seem to be going with tend to be, it seems to be Midtown and someone else, and Midtown have no presence here. How do they plan on distributing outside of the US?
That's interesting.
So I think I read today that DC have approached Penguin Random House.
Right. Yeah.
So Penguin obviously are massive here. So I'm guessing if they use Penguin, then Penguin have got the global reach.
But I'll bet that's for trades and not for the floppies.
Could be. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I can't see Penguin. I could be wrong, but I can't see Penguin distributing floppies.
Monthlies. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, I could be wrong. I don't know.
I think that's what they announced, is that it is Penguin will be doing the graphic novels. And I think it UCS is what it's called, will be doing the floppies.
And this is in the UK, Kurtis?
I'm not too sure where specifically, but I heard Penguin mention just the graphic novels. But yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So we don't know. He didn't know. He was didn't know what they were going to do. So
yeah,
I guess it's a wait and see.
I think there's a lot of that. I think that I like to tell folks, when I was younger, I got in I became kind of more aware of the comic community at large in the late 70s, early 80s, basically, when I could start driving. And I could go get out to comic shops. I didn't realize at the time that the comic industry was, experiencing a big revolutionary change from, exclusive newsstand distribution to comic shops. I didn't know because they just popped up and there was my comic shop and I could go to them, right? But that was a period of massive change for the comic book industry. I was in the industry then when we saw. Kurtis was as well when we saw the death of the newsstand, which was in the early 90s. The newsstand just completely died as far as comic distribution goes. And I think that we're on right now. I think we're in another one of those changes. I don't know what that change is going to be. I don't think if you had asked someone, back when that change was happening, if they could have answered you either. But I do think that we're in the midst of a change in the industry as far as distribution goes. And of course, anyone who knows me knows that I'm the eternal optimist. So I can't help but think that on the opposite, when we come out of this, on the opposite side is going to be good for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. More possibilities to distribute your comic, the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Monopoly's never been a good thing, but Diamond have got away with it for so long that.
Yeah.
And people hate change.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. Okay, my clock says 9:40. Brett, can we stream the Wayne Hall comic review? All right, so we're gonna Wayne Hall, our friend Wayne Hall from Wayne's Comics, is going to review a comic for us. Lock and Key, I think is what he's reviewing this time. And so pay attention to Wayne. We'll be back here in about 10 minutes.
Hi, it's Wayne Hall back again with indies that you can order through your local shop. There's a guy that you probably are familiar with by the name of Joe Hill, and he has some relationship to Stephen King, interestingly enough. And of course, the thing that he's best known for is Lock and Key. And I've seen the show and it's on, I think it's Netflix. And it's pretty true to this, which I like very well. But what I want to talk about is not that one, which you're familiar with. Probably another one that you're less familiar with, called The Cape. It comes out from IDW, and I'm going to read the description to you. Every little boy dreams about putting on a cape and soaring up, up, and away. But what if one day that dream were to come true? Eric was like every other 8-year-old boy until a tragic accident changed his life forever. The Cape explores the dark side of power, as the adult Eric, a confused and broken man, takes to the skies and sets out to exact a terrible vengeance on anyone who's ever disappointed him. And I have to say, as a fan of DC Comics, Superman, Batman, all those things, the icons and stuff are the ones that appeal to me because I feel like people, if they got extra abilities, might try to do the best thing they can for others, try to help other people and things like that. Not in this book. I have to tell you, it's a perfect example of what the word horror means. The only ability he has is to fly, and every time I read a page in this book, I was grateful that's all that he had, because any other ones would have been a disaster for anybody around him. But it's such an interesting thing. I think it's because it's called the cape, and I think the cape is what gives him the ability to fly. Let's just say that anybody that he's ever run afoul of, bad things happen. And things I don't dare even say about them because they're just so awful and just so honestly terrible. There's 2 police officers early in the book, and this is, by the way, the collection of that came out individually. There's also, by the way, before I get too far into it, I want to mention there was a follow-up miniseries. There's a gap in time in this book, and what happens is they fill that miniseries. That miniseries fills that space, and he runs into, in that miniseries, a group of cosplayers out in the middle of the woods. Bad things happen to them too. I have to say, he goes out there for solitude, but he ends up running into this group. Now in here, he's in town, and he's in amongst the people, and we get to see a lot of the people that have done him wrong over the years, and really bad. It's a little sketchy as far as the art goes, as you can see there. It's not necessarily as clean as superheroic books are, but that's good. That fits the tone of the book. The characters are interesting. I have to say that the Eric, the main guy, is you understand why he's doing what he's doing. Doesn't mean you like it, but you get to understand the terrible things that have happened to him. And there's some great art when he's flying, like that, for example. That's a great double page spread when he's flying. And of course, you see there's a plane coming. Fear for the plane is all I can tell you. And there's all kinds of stuff that happens in there. And the thing about horror is you don't dare spoil it, because when you come across these events, you need to be surprised. I never was a big horror fan until the last couple of years when I came across things like this, because it gave me some really interesting things to think about. Superman, if you watched Injustice, the video game, or if you saw the comics that Tom Taylor did, Superman is a much less righteous individual in there. He's not this guy. He's not Eric, but he's different. With Superman, you always know he's going to do the right thing. He's going to do the proper thing. In this book, he's not going to do the right thing. The bad news is he's extremely creative on how he does things to people. So it came out individually, and it's put together in this nice hardcover edition, which I got because it's back in that a set of books back there in the shelves normally, because I really, really, really enjoy this book. And I think if you are ready for something different as far as superheroics go, this is a book I would say you'd want to read. Now, it originally came out, let me find that year real quickly. It came out in 2012, so it's a little older as a book, but you can still order it in many shops. So, because Joe Hill, by the way, another bit on him, he is the guy that's behind a series of horror books that DC is doing. And so he gets around, this guy, and I can see why. If you read this book, you'll know why, because it's just something that's going to grip you, and you will not believe the stuff he does. You just will not. Let's just say that it ends interestingly. There are things that could spin out of this. See, spoiling things is something I just hate to do, especially when things are involved with horror. You have got to be surprised, or else you lose all the ability of what's going on. But it does have an interesting ending. As I always like to say, I get really unhappy when I read a story and the ending doesn't stand up. This one stands up. It's appropriate for the book, and let's just say we could see stories spinning out of the Cape, but I don't think we will for a while. I think Mr. Hill's busy with stuff at DC, so I don't think we'll see that. So let's get on to the grading, shall we? The writing, I give it an A, as always. I'm always drawn to strong writing, and that's what happens here. The characters are interesting. What they do is unexpected. It's interesting to see somebody who's not necessarily a good guy get powers and what he does with it. It's really shattering, I have to say. So it's written well. You believe what's going on, though. I mean, flight is the power that almost everybody wants. People always say in interviews these days, what superpower would you want? I always say the future, but really, I really want the flight. They want to hear you. You want to tell the future, but flight's what everybody wants. So this is a case where not good. So the writing is really strong. I would give it an A. The art, as I said, is sketchier than I would probably like, but it does fit the tone. But I don't know. At times I think it could have been a little stronger, so I would give the art a B. Now the lettering, I thought it was actually pretty good in this one. I would give that a B as well, because it's pretty well done. They let the art shine when it needs to, and the text is really interesting. When horrific things happen, you don't need lettering, and they're good with that, so I think that's good. Now, literary merit. Does this book hold up as a literary story? Yeah, I'd say it does. It's got surprises along the way. It's got interesting characters. It's got stuff. Now, I would say this is not for young kids. You know, if somebody likes Superman, you're a 7 or 8 year old boy, not for them. But I'd say if you're an adult and you're looking for something that's different, I would give this a B, strong B. Fun factor, no. There's no fun in this at all. If there's any humor at all, and there's very little, it's dark. So I would give it a C on fun factor. Overall grade, because Mr. Hill is so good at what he does. It's hard not to give it anything but an A. But I'd probably go like a B plus or something like that. It's different, and I love different. I love something that surprises me, and that's what this book does. It doesn't surprise me in the fact that he does bad things, but what he chooses to do surprises me. If you read the book and you get to this business with the 2 cops, you'll see what I'm talking about. Very stuff. So I would give it like a B plus, and I don't normally want to fudge in the pluses and stuff, but I don't know if it's an A, because the artwork kind of flusters me a little bit. I would say B plus, something I don't normally do. But it's the Cape. It's from IDW. You can get it through local shops. If they don't have the Cape, try something else that Joe Hill is doing. Although, don't normally want to promote DC in these things, but I would, again, Lock and Key. If you haven't read Lock and Key, that's a good one to go back to. So Mr. Hill is doing a great job on the horror stuff, and I highly recommend that. And until next week, keep reading your comics.
Okay, welcome back. Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate your insightful reviews. And I don't think he said it this time, but these guys doing the reviews, Wayne and Martin and Eric, these all guys. They assign grades for me, A, B, C, right? Because I asked them specifically to assign grades. That may be the teacher in me coming out, but I think it's good for you as a viewer to kind of know where it ranks. We thought about going with the stars, but I'm like, everybody uses stars. Let's assign grades, right? And maybe the fact too that so many of the Kubert school grads are coming over, so they're still fresh on the grades, right? Yeah, okay. So, all right. So now what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about crowdfunding. Okay, so and this is not a specific one thing about crowdfunding. I just kind of want to cover it all. We've just come off a successful Kickstarter campaign for the first Silverline double feature, which had Divinity #1 and Twilight Grim #1. There are a lot of things about crowdfunders, and I just really want to kind of toss out some of the I guess my first question would be for Murderer's Row here. What thing do you absolutely love about crowdfunding campaigns, and what do you not love so much? I don't want to use the word hate. I don't like that word, but what word do you not love so much about crowdfunders? So jump in.
You talking from like I'm sorry, go ahead.
Honestly,
Curtis.
no, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, it's a great opportunity for the readers, a great opportunity for creators, and it's kind of all about, tell me a story. I mean, there's the opportunity for all these different people with different views, different skill sets to kind of tell a story that's different than what's out there. And also, to be honest, I think sometimes we harken back to kind of classic storytelling comic books, which is kind of something that's been missing of late. And so there's the opportunity to hear stories that you wanted to hear and you haven't heard for a while. So I think crowdfunding is great to give you those options. That's my thought on it.
Yeah,
cool.
That's usually what I see. I don't know. I like the diversity. The various amounts of books that you can find through crowdfunding. So it's not like, I mean, like Marvel and Dark Horse, but they have a certain sort of like tone or look to their books. In crowdfunding, you just get so many different things. So yeah, that's what I like, at least.
Yeah. So you like that you give variety.
Yeah, just all sorts of genres and different art and all that stuff.
Now, did you crowdfund Godlings at all?
No, I have right now. I am just printing them. I actually just got I have 7 issues printed, so that's exciting for me. Now actually like spread out all 7 issues. Like, look, it's getting complete. So it's kind of exciting. But I do plan to, when it's finally finished, just maybe start crowdfunding. Do that. I want to finish the series first before I start jumping to anything else.
Now, we've got a really good relationship with a printer. Who do you use? I'm sorry. I don't mean to put you. I'm sorry. No. I don't mean to put you on the spot there. Hey, listen. I always got to fly the flag of my buddies, though.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. So what about it, Mike? What do you think?
I like the direct content with the creator. I think it's a great way of, if you've got a project and you want to get it out there and you're asking for a little bit of support, I think it's great because, the person who supports it feels like they're along with the ride. They're helping out a good project, a passion project, possibly a dream project. And I think that's what the best part about it is. I think you get a little piece of the ride, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's what I like about crowdfunding. That's why I try to support it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know you are a crowdfunding supporter. Now, Man in the Mask has not been crowdfunded, right?
No, I've done it all myself.
I know that last time we were in, last time I was at, Tommy and I think we're in Pikeville. I think we talked a little bit about it. Didn't you say you had kind of molded over some, thought about it?
I molded over, but Man in the Mask is something I'm kind of doing and just the kind of little cracks of my day. And I don't really, if I had like more of a sit down spot to be able just to keep creating, maybe crowdfunding was something I'd want to do. And that's kind of the reason that I'm kind of heading toward, digital comics, that will allow me to get a little more out there. And then maybe when I have enough content, maybe crowdfund a trade, maybe. But as far as individual issues, that's something I haven't really wanted to entertain. I just get them done when I can. And then, that's kind of what's worked for me so far.
That's my take too. When I kickstart Godlings, I want to do it in trades. The Kickstarter would be for the trades, and it'll be 3 trades. I don't want to try for 1 trade of all 12 issues, but we'll see how that goes. But I'd rather do trades than single issue, just because if it's 12 issues long, I didn't want to think about 12 Kickstarters. So we'll start combining those together.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I think there is some advantage in doing a trade over the floppies. I think that, and partly that's why I think I got to insist that for Silverline we continue to have the books finished. But I think that fans are willing to plop down a slightly larger dollar amount for the reasons that Mike touched on, is that they feel they're they're along for the ride. They're with you. They want to contribute. They want to be able to see this come to fruition. And if they get something bigger, that's nicer than just I got a 60-page graphic novel as opposed to a 22-page floppy. And yeah, so for me, the way I look at it, though, part of the problem in us crowdfunding trades from the onset is that because of the Silverline model, that means that we've got to finish, I don't know, let's just say 4, I can't do math, so someone help me here. 4 issues times 22 pages is what? Yeah, Becca looks at me now. I can't do math either. Thanks.
About 100.
80, about 100, yeah. 88
it's about 100
pages. So yeah, you're looking at like 88 pages. That's a big investment for creators to put in without a real knowledge of any kind of return. And
well, at Silverline, we're trying to get where you're wanting to put the books up that are done. A lot of the Kickstarter stuff is people trying to get money to help them fund them to create the book. The book's not done. You're helping them pay. You're basically paying them to do the book. So it's kind of, you're doing a different model. So it's two different things there.
Yeah. And I think that's what,
I like yours better. Yours is much better because I don't know how many things I hadn't got.
That's my pet peeve on crowdfunding. Please help us, give us the time and the money to be able to create it, and then 2 years. It's like, dude, we help fund your project and you're off doing other projects when I was supposed to be helping you on this one. It's like you just don't get any results out of it.
More money for another project, and
exactly.
I didn't give you money for that one, and you didn't actually give me the book.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things is I had seen that, I'd seen so many fans complaining about that. And I'm like, I don't want that, I don't want that to be Silverline. I don't want that to be us. I don't want it, a year down the road, people going, well, I still don't have my Silverline book. And, I gave them my $12 or my, my $25 or my 60, whatever it is. I don't want to see people complaining about that. And so that was kind of when the decision early on was made. Okay, we have to be done when we kickstart so that we can so hold on, I gotta send Brett a code real quick.
I think that really builds up a lot of trust between the Silverline as a content creator and the customers. I mean, the fact that they know when they're putting their money down, they're gonna get it, and they get it shortly thereafter. It's just such a different relationship between creator and consumer than is really out there, and I think people appreciate it.
Well, I know a lot of Kickstarter folks that are basically having to fund. You're paying for the next Kickstarter to pay for the previous one. You know what I'm saying? So because it's it's like they
spent all the money.
They spent the money on something and didn't actually get the books out or whatever. I'm talking about comic book stuff. Not gadgets and but just talking comic stuff. But I'm sure it probably happens on hardware and stuff. Pretty much all of the computer stuff that I've bought, or y'all may not know I'm into magic stuff, so I've got a lot of magic things that. But they're all kind of the same. Unless they're done, you don't know if you're going to actually get it. So your way of doing it, I think, is really good.
Right, and I think it's like we've invested in the book before they've invested. We've invested creating it, putting it together. So we have confidence in the product and we're showing it because we've already done the bulk of the investment. All we have to do is invest their funds to go ahead and finish the last leg of it. But we've done the investment already. That's a huge difference.
Hey Pete, share your screen.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And that's one of the things that Brett said. We're getting a little bit of internet issues thanks to our weather here. So hopefully we'll still be rocking and rolling and good to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you want to see all the various layers it takes?
Sure. Well, you
so-
just we'll keep you show what you're comfortable showing. We're just gonna keep having a conversation here, and as folks are watching, if they y'all help me watch the chats. If they ask for something particular, we'll ask you. And
yeah, just I tend to use digital
all right,
stuff.
so there's a couple of chat messages here. Let me make sure I don't skip any of them. Eric said, I think it allows someone to get their book out when otherwise they could not due to not being financially able, to which I absolutely 100% agree with that, because I remember back in the late 90s when I had to fork out a couple $1,000s to get thousand books printed, or 3,000 books printed, because that was the minimum press run, and you weren't guaranteed to sell any of those. Now this was I did move some through the distributor channels, so I knew how many I was going to move before I went to press. But I will say that I moved considerably fewer in 2001 than I moved in 97. So yeah, I think this is particularly with print on demand like Kablam, you're able to say, hey, we've got 200 backers, I need 200 books, and your money goes to fund those 200 books. You don't have to worry about coming up with the money to print 1,000 copies, and I think that's nice. Oven, who is a dear friend to Silverline, says he prefers the single issues because of how fun it is to collect them. He'd honestly rather have 3 variants of 3 variants of cat and mouse, 1 through 4, so 12 in all, than the trade, which has 1 through 4. And I can certainly confirm that Oven likes this, because he was a supporter of the Kickstarter, and then when I saw him at the local comic shop, who supported us, Trouble's little sister, Oven bought the other cover. I'm like, Oven, you already have this book. He says, yes, I know, but I don't have this cover. So he bought that and got the full run of all the covers. Mark Fenton, hey Mark, how are you? Mark said for him the Kickstarter money went to printing and shipping. And yeah, I think that's what most people, I think this is what most supporters of Kickstarters want to see happen. I think part of the problem with a lot of the Indiegogos is that as Tommy was saying earlier, is like, I'm raising money to pay for my last thing, and because I spent all the money, and now I got to have new money to pay for this, and I think that kind of chafes a little bit for fans.
Well, I'm
Jacob
not saying that happens every time, but
no.
We do know of some folks where that's been an issue. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's been an issue enough that fans are wary of that, and so it's been an issue enough so that when someone like us come along and they're like,
say that it's done.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so, because they would look at us and they say, well, I don't know who these Silverline fellows are. I don't, Tommy's been in the business 30 years, but I'm not really familiar with him. So, but if they see the book is done, then that gives them the confidence. Okay, well,
at least it's done. Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's going to get it. Yeah. Jacob had asked who's inking on the screen right now. And so Jacob, just before Pete popped up with the Miss Fury, that was Thomas Florimonte who was inking. And Tommy, you were inking. I didn't even see what you were inking.
This was issue, this is the part of Trump's. This is Thomas's.
You had talked about inking something different.
Yeah, I'm going to pull that up. It was just on the screen when I flipped it. I'm like, I got to start getting to work on something.
Yeah. So Jacob, that was Thomas Florimonte inking that, and he was inking Trump's part of one of the new books we're going to crowdfund probably around September. And Jose Fuente said, "Looking good, Pete."
Thanks, Jose.
So yeah, so I kind of jumped on it a little bit, stepped on my own lines here. Is one of the things I was going to ask you is, what's the single most frustrating thing to you about crowdfunding? And this is going to be a two-pointer. The first one is from a fan's perspective. What frustrates you as someone who supports a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo, and then what frustrates you or what frustrates you as a creator of crowdfunders? And Peter, I realize that there's not a whole lot of experience there, but you certainly you're in tune enough with the industry enough to know. And I know, Aaron, you said you hadn't done Godlings yet.
No, not yet.
But you're familiar enough with it to you've got some opinions, or you can even think
Yeah.
about what might frustrate you.
I've had some friends that have kickstarted their stuff, and I've talked to him a lot about going through stuff. And I know one of the things that he was hoping, one of his ideas Kickstarter is to build an audience, get new readers in. But he made his last Kickstarter, but he kind of was a little dismayed that it was the same people from before. He wasn't really bringing in new readers. And I was like, that is. And that's one of the reasons why I'm looking at Kickstarter is I want to expand my audience. And if that doesn't really expand it, then I'm trying to think of like other ways, or maybe think of ways on Kickstarter to expand the audience.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hi, Larry. I just see I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, Aaron.
No,
I
go
just
ahead.
spotted that there's a way that I can see here when people have joined. So I'm looking. Hey, Will. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Alex. Alex G is here. So I'm gonna try to say hi as people join. So y'all just ignore me if you hear me say that. I'm just greeting people as they come into the stream. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So you're looking at it as a way to expand your audience, yeah.
Right, expand readers. And now instead of doing a Kickstarter, I decided to do a Webtoons. But Webtoons is very hard because my comic the Webtoons is very anime. My comic's not really anime. And I've even tried to find more web hosting sites for Western audiences like superhero, and there's not many. And so, because everybody says like, well, you got to build an audience before you kickstart. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to build my audience before I jump in a kickstart because there's no audience. And so trying to do this huge circle.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely hard. Yeah, you trying to figure out where to go with it and how do you get an audience. And sometimes you got to take. I mean, I'm with you on that. It's like
you
I
just
want to build an audience for anything.
You just went digital, did you, Mike?
Yeah, that's one thing is when I was talking about the time wise, as far as that's the thing, going back to the topic of the Kickstarter, the thing that's kind of wanted me to keep away from it right now is just the time factor, because as you just got off of it, it's a lot of time trying to get your goal every day. And I'm just in it for the creation. I like making stories, I like whatever, and that's the reason I decided on the digital. That allows me to I can update it when I can. It helps build the audience. People can kind of, there's no risk, take a look at it, see if it's something they're interested in. And once it's there, I mean, there's a lot of people that have done, pretty decent on building an audience with web comics. And, I looked at Webtoons, and that's not really my format. I mean, I don't really.
I tried. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, just as far as breaking mine down into that Webtoon format of vertical, I love it. As just for myself, I just don't really see presenting my stuff in that manner. Because I want to do everything I do, I want to eventually print.
Right, and I actually just post my printed pages. I don't break it down, which could be reason why I don't have a lot of, I don't have a lot of traction. But again, trying to find it's really, I've noticed like a lot of people who like Webtoons, it's either humorous strips or anime. Yeah. And again, I'm trying to find like, well, people who like superhero Western comics, like where do they go? And it's really hard to find, and I don't know how many web comics they read. So again, that's the thing, is mine kind of borders a little bit of anime, but more towards Western, more like cartoon. So it's like, well, it seems every time I sort of conventions to do better at conventions with American audiences than like with anime fans. And it's like, yeah, but is there any place I can host that to get that in front of more of a Western audience who might be more into it than an audience that's more in the anime and certain types of anime that may not click with them? And it's hard. It's like, where do you host this thing? Because I use Webtoon just because I had a built-in audience. But just because of the built-in audience doesn't mean they're going to come to your comic. There's thousands of comics on there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's unreal. So yeah, that's the hardest thing for me. And I don't take it a dismay that I don't have a huge audience, but I have noticed that a lot of Western comics use Kickstarter as a sort of like, instead of doing web comics, they kickstart and do more. That seems to be more the Western format of getting comics out to people. Yeah, they still think so many people are collectors and want that physical book instead of reading it online.
Well, one of the kings at doing this was his name was right there, and then I started talking. Phil Foglio, right?
Oh yeah,
Danger Girl. he's certainly one of the models of what you're talking about, because
Yeah.
he released Danger Girl a couple of pages a week on his website, and at the end of the year he collected all of the pages up and released them as a trade.
Are you talking? Is it Danger? Or are you talking about Girl Genius?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're Girl Genius. You're right.
Yeah,
you're
that's
right.
right. I thought,
Yeah.
because I was thinking
Yeah.
like maybe it's not right, but yeah, but I understand
No.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's one thing I thought about doing too. Yeah, I don't know. Again, building your audience. There's just, the internet is great because you're able to get it for so many people, but the catch-22 is so many people able to do this that it's like a whole flood of people out there. They're trying to find your niche people who want to read your stuff. Because I looked at your stuff, Mike, and that was cool, but I couldn't figure out, was it a web comic or could I buy it? I wasn't quite figuring out on some of the sites, but I really liked what I saw of your stuff. Because I saw your shirt. I'm like, oh, you're the guy that does the guy in the mask, the man in the mask. Yeah.
So his property preceded his face, right?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
For me, yes. I recognized your shirt right away and saw
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It is a very good thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you want people to. I mean, that's the thing. The one thing about us is that we're not the media celebrities, but we want our properties, our comics, to be the celebrity, right? Aaron, are you drawing?
I am, but I'm drawing on paper, so I can show it to the camera, but I can't share a screen. It's paper.
Okay, all right. Hey Brett, you wanna? Brett says the best way for me to do it is just I keep him my own timer here, and I'm just gonna tell him to swap. So Becca, share. I'm trying to keep my 5-minute timer here going. Yeah. So here's one of the things that tossed out for consideration is part of the problem, and Tommy, you might jump on here with when we're talking about digital comics, because there are a lot of free digital comics on Indie Planet right now. Comixology also offers a lot of free, and I notice a lot more free ones now that everybody's in lockdown. I know you can't give specific numbers, but to titles, but what kind of numbers do you see people collect those free comics from Indie Planet?
A lot. They go get them a lot because there's a bunch of them up there. So if you go to indieplanet.com, there and one of the little drop downs you can hit free, and you'll
browse
see that
free.
There's hundreds of them up there. And there's people that we notice the same names of the same people that they're just going up there grabbing the free stuff all the time. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the numbers are, but it is pretty.
It's a lot.
But those free books are also leads people into getting. I mean, if you have a series, a 4-issue arc, 10-issue arc, whatever it is, and you just throw a couple of them up, then and then the rest of them are printed versions. We usually get the sell through of the printed stuff. So you got to get people looking at it and figure out who you are, and then hit them up with the printed versions. Yeah.
And I think that's something that will as we add more issues for Silverline, something we'll have to kind of take into consideration. Do we want to offer our first issues for free?
Yeah, like once Cat and Mouse the 4 issues get done, you may have the first one free.
Yep,
and then you want to read the rest of it. You got to get the trade or buy. Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of comics who do that, but this kind of goes back to kind of my thinking about the webtoons is, and I use webtoons kind of as a general tune for web comics, right? Is it that how do you really generate income from a webtoon?
It's almost impossible. Webtoons I've used Webtoons specifically. They have a featured webcomic. If they like your comic enough, they will pay you to make it. But Webtoons is owned by a Korean company, so they're very, I don't know how well, like a lot of people say their timetable to make a comic is much more intense than an American timetable because they make manga and stuff. And so, but as far as generating income, it's almost impossible unless you do like a Kickstarter. Again, I've seen lots of people who generate the audience like Mike would is trying to do same thing, and then the audience, when you put up the Kickstarter, they're like, you wanted like a physical copy of your book, hopefully they will come buy your book, and that's what you're trying to do, and it doesn't always work out. the hardest thing to do is just to get eyes on your book, to get people interested. I mean, and the hardest thing is to get people to read it. I mean, people can flip through a comic. I go through a store and flip through it, and I could have flipped through tons of comics. I'm like, they're okay, but they could have been amazing, and I wouldn't know because I didn't read it. So at least online comics give you a chance to read a little bit of it and see if you like it. But then again, it's really hard to get people to actually read your stuff. The more anxious to look at it.
There's other services out there like your Patreon places like this.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah, people do that too.
And then we've got a book that we that we print for, but it's at Kablam. That it's strictly Patreon is what he does all the stuff through, and and he does multiple different covers and all that kind of stuff. But he sends the books. They get you're talking about web cartoons. I think he sends as the pages are done. He sends people copies of the pages, but he also once it's compiled, the whole issue's done, then part of their Patreon level gives them print copies of the books too. So
that's good, because that's been my trouble with Patreon. Is just I've been so busy trying to get my book done that I know Patreon, you have to give certain bonuses to Patreons or whatever. And I'm trying to factor in, well, I'd rather just focus and finish my project first. Besides splitting my time up, making a bunch of bonuses for people Patreons. That's always been my big stop.
Well, I think the bonus could be the actual page that you're working on.
Somebody mentioned that to me before, that it could be that. Yeah.
It sure is. Yeah. As simple as a couple of bucks, $1 a week, $1 a month, whatever the different ones are. There's all kind of different people are doing all kind of different stuff.
Strangely enough, do they? And this is a weird question. Do you know if Patreon does Patreons for companies, like for ours? That's maybe a dumb question.
It's funny that you say that. I can't tell you. Just over the past month, probably since we were kickstarting the Divinity stuff, how many people have asked me if Silverline offered a subscription. And obviously, we don't really produce enough yet.
Yeah, what would the subscription be? Exactly.
Well, that's it. Well, I don't know. I don't know that we have, yet. Of course, I don't know that we have enough content that we can really justify charging anyone a subscription price for something.
Right.
These
weekly streams, we could do
a Twitch subscription, Brett said. Yeah. For behind the scenes content, right? Let them sit in on our board meetings.
Yeah.
Okay. Brett's talking in my ear.
What did he say? I can't do
okay. He said you have to be an affiliate.
I didn't know that.
He said you might have to be an affiliate on Twitch. And we pushed the thing about it is we pushed YouTube so hard to get our numbers up, and now we can't stream. We can't figure out how to stream on YouTube, which is just really oddly strange.
Live stream, you said?
Yeah. Well, it's I meant live stream. Yeah. Well, the way I've been getting the last couple episodes up is I've been downloading the Twitch stream and uploading it then onto YouTube.
Yeah.
So
that works. And so,
and
that's
it's just a pain.
It is a pain. And sometimes I don't always tune into other people that go live that I know. I'll watch them after the fact.
Yeah.
Because I forget. I'm the same way with TV shows. This is why I never watch TV anymore, because I can never remember where's on. I have so much stuff going on. So
right. Well, and that's kind of what we see. We see in the numbers. We see that people. We don't. Our live numbers here aren't huge. They haven't been on Wednesdays. They haven't been huge numbers. But we've been seeing a lot of people coming to watch the recorded versions.
Yeah, afterwards and stuff.
Yep. So and this is something we knew when we started this, right? We knew that we weren't going to start off with 100 people watching us at a time. We knew this is something we're gonna have to build up, and the part of it is we got to generate content, and this is why I think it's important that we always have art up on our stream, because when folks come here, they know that they're going to be able to see an artist doing some arting.
Well, everyone just comes to see Becca Inc. I mean, that's why I come here. I mean, that's the only reason I show up. So
no. We come here to hear Becca pronounce new words.
Don't run her off.
I know.
But now that we've got Pete here, we'll have to get him to start pronouncing words for us.
We'll
Right?
just have him say random words in his accent.
Right.
Say this.
Yeah, that was the last 3 years of my life.
Oh, I'll
basically.
bet. Yeah. Yeah. I envision a whole other stream about what Pete learned about Americans being in America. So Wubba says he listened to us while he draws. Hey Michael, how are you? Glad thanks for joining us. So yeah, I know, but you know, artists can do that. Artists can
Yeah.
like you guys, you can have a conversation and ink and draw at the same time. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
listen or watch television. I cannot write and listen to a conversation at the same time because I'll be focused on what they're saying and I can't write.
Oh yeah, I can't do that either. So every time I have to write or do any writing in my writing, all of it's turned off.
Yeah.
I turn everything off. I have to. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so I can listen to music. I heard the other day that's actually a good topic here. Music you listen to while you work. I have to write down topics to talk about. I can listen to music, but I cannot listen to someone who's talking, or I can't watch news. I can't watch, that kind of thing because it distracts me.
No, I sit in front of the TV and do all my stuff. Even when I was doing
Yeah.
traditional inking, I would sit in front of the TV while it was going at it. I mean, now I'm doing everything on the iPad, but I'm still sitting in front of the TV. The TV is right there.
We can see the glow on your.
Yeah, I know. What am I watching?
Well, if you'd actually turn your camera a little bit, we'd see more of the TV. Yeah. Okay. What are you watching?
Oh, there you go. A reflection in the back.
Yeah, we see the reflection there.
Yeah. I used to do that at my work. I would start. I worked at an old studio and I had 2 screens, and so just because I listen to music, but sometimes I listen to albums, and if the music starts repeating the album, okay, I got to turn it off. It's starting to drive me nuts. So I like to listen to narration, something of the story while I draw. So I would just put TV up in a little corner. I wouldn't watch it. I mean, I didn't care. All the stuff I'd watch and I'd seen it tons. I'm just listening to the narration.
Yeah,
but my boss couldn't wrap my head around the fact that I could get my work done while doing this. He just no, you let him watch TV, and I'm like, no, I'm not really. So I eventually just minimized the screen and just listened to it. And then I was like, okay, this is that better. I'm just listening. I've seen this stuff. I'm just listening to it as a narration device.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, Tommy, back to you, Sherry.
All right.
I'm gonna try to be more on top of my my timer here.
Kicking Becca off.
Yeah, I got it set for 5 minutes. That may not be long enough. We'll experiment with it.
Kicked you off. You're out of there.
Roland,
yes.
I'd be curious. You kind of asking this, but I mean, you're kind of at the crux of all aspects of the crowdfunding. What are your hot takes? What are your thoughts about the frustrations, the things you enjoy? Because you have, I think, the most experience of just about anybody here. Yeah,
I mean, so as a supporter of Kickstarters, I think it echoes what you guys say. I have a hard time today. Now, when I first okay, now Tommy, you got to tell us what you're inking now because you pulled out something different.
Yeah, this is.
Show us a big
Nice.
That's the big piece. Big Silverline group shot done by Alex Gallimore.
Yeah. So who's all the people?
Oh my goodness, we're not going to go through and mention them all. You're going to put me on the spot. That's Champion right there up front, of course.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's Divinity right there. I'm pointing with my mouse like anyone can see it.
I know.
Yeah, of course that's Demon right there. You're circling. Switchblade is just to his lower right. That is Fry Rush. That's Switchblade. You're circling there. Yeah. That's Kanoich from Cat and Mouse. That is Kalis right there. Scott.
I don't know who this person is.
Yeah, I'm not really sure who that one is either.
I think that's Frank.
Just Frank. It's just Frank.
Frank.
You guys all know Frank, right?
Yeah.
There's Frank. All right, we got Frank.
Let's see here. Obviously, I see the ace, an ace right there. There's the ace of ace of hearts. I think is who that is.
I'm not sure who this guy is.
That's Phil. That's Phil from Something Big.
Oh.
Yep, he's a detective guy. Can't remember who that is off the top of my head. So can't remember who that is off the top of my head.
Oh, this is what's your book? Isn't it
It's not the guy from the Marauder.
Oh, that's Marauder. Yeah, that's
there you
Marauder.
go.
Oh,
Yeah, that's Sid's book. That's Sid's book.
Sid's book. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's Pendulum over his just above Cat. And that's Cat right there you're looking at. That's the Pendulum character right there that you're kind of pointing at. That's Cray that we can see in the very top corner, who's the barbarian looking thing.
Okay, but yet no, you can't erase a smiley face. It has to stay on Cat the whole time.
And of course that's Tempest to his Cat's bottom left as we look at it, and then Silver Dollar over his shoulder. Sniper and Rook are just below Tempest. Sniper and Rook, and then the dude there is oh crap, is Alex online? Alex, who is that? Tell me who that is. Alex is supposed to be online. He's not online. Okay, I don't know. Just get back to inking.
Okay.
We'll release we'll release one of those those pictures that have the numbers with all the
yeah, exactly. So
we'll release one of those for everybody. All right, so back to your question, Curtis. I think the thing that frustrates me most is backing a book. So I can tell you this. I don't know if I can get to Kickstarter fast enough. I've discovered, someone told me about Kickstarter several years ago, and I backed a project, I think in 2014. And my internet is a little bit slow here, probably because we're having storms. I'm gonna try to tell you. I guess I should shame the person, since I mean,
you're gonna get us in big trouble.
Well, you can't put out a book and somebody do the math for me. How many years ago is that? 2014. Yeah, I got several here that haven't been fulfilled. In case you didn't know, I'm a super backer. I honestly have no idea what it takes to become a super backer, other than you just back a lot of projects. And I do back a lot of projects. I can't remember, and I'm not going to scroll back up to look. I have backed a whole bunch. So the first project I backed was supposed to be delivered in January of 2014. I backed the physical. Stop.
Hammer down.
I backed the physical book by called Birdland by Shane Matthew Murphy. He got 229 backers and $9,000. His books never shipped. Never shipped.
When was this? 2014, you said?
2014. They were supposed to ship January 2014. So the very first project I ever backed is also the oldest one that I'm waiting for.
Yeah, but it takes a long time to make a comic roll.
They're still working on it, Roland.
They're still working.
A 24-page black and white, right? No, sorry.
He can't get that face right. He's been working on that face for.
What's that?
Hands are hard.
Yeah, hands are hard.
and bird hands are even harder, right?
Oh, yeah.
They probably printed it at Kablam, and they didn't ship it.
So here's another one. I'm not going to mention his name, but because he has since passed. But here's one that I pledged. It was supposed to be delivered in August of 2015, and he passed, I think, in 2018. So even 3 years, right? No delivery, and I'll never get that now because he's no longer with us. But yeah, there's some books I'm waiting on here for some, A-list names. And I just don't have it. So I have come to the point in my backing that if the book is not complete, I won't back it. Unless, of course, it's somebody I know. If Curtis says, "Hey, Roland, I'm doing a Kickstarter, and I've got 10 of my 20 pages done." Well, I know Curtis. Curtis is my friend. I'm going to support him. I'm going to back him. But if it's not somebody, I don't know. I'm not backing the project if it's not done. I mean, that's just me, because I've been burned way too much, and I don't mind. Here's the other thing, right? So crowdfunders, you look at them, you go, man, really $10 for a single comic? That's a lot of money. I can wait and see you at a comic book convention, and I'll give you $5.
Right.
Yes, that is a reality. I get that. But I look at this as like, you know what? I don't mind giving you $10 for your crowdfunding book, because I know you're going to give me something that you're not going to give probably going to give me something that you're not going to give folks at conventions. And I'm giving you this in order to help you do what you're going to do, right? I get that. I totally understand that a crowdfunded book is going to cost a little bit more than it would cost if I buy it from you at the convention. And I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with that. But what I'm not okay is if you do that and you wait 3 years to deliver. It's like, no. You rip me off. And so, I mean, I hate it, because I know there are some people out there who are like, Roland, you shouldn't be so hard. And I'm like, I'm waiting on too many books that haven't delivered. And so I can't afford to have my money go out there without any kind of return. So,
do you ever get cautious at number one issues? And this may be more towards maybe a little bit towards the independent comic community, a little bit, but I've seen some comics I really like, and you can kind of tell, like when you see like, oh, this is a great first issue, then you just realize that's probably the only thing you will ever see from them. Usually, if I see a first issue, I'm like, I'll watch it. If somebody kickstarts a second issue, I'm more apt to back it and going back and getting the other issue, because I know they're committed. Because that's always been my big beef. Is like, well, if I back and read the first issue, it's going to end in a cliffhanger because it's number one of a series, and if they never continue the story, it's very that's a personal pet peeve of mine. It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
It's like, either if you're not going to do a continuous story, either have an ending or do the whole thing. This is sometimes why I kind of like graphic novels a little more. I feel like at least I'm getting some sort of arc or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if other people like that more or not.
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind. I do not mind backing it, because, and I think here's why. Because there's been plenty of throughout my collecting days, there's been plenty of times I've bought one issue, or 2 issues, and then the series was canceled.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
And this this is through legit publishers. So I don't mind that. It's the same kind of frustration that you would experience there.
Yeah. I can see that. That's a good point. I didn't think of it that way. I don't know. I've always wanted those. I mean, there's been a few. I backed one issue for $10. That was okay. But there's some that are like, here's like,
I think I would rather plop down my $10 to try out a number one issue than to drop down 40 or 50 books than to try a graphic novel from somebody I've never heard of.
I wonder if that'd be an interesting.
Because I can drop down my $10, and if I like it, I'm coming back. Right? You do another one, I'm coming back. If I drop down my 40 or 50 bucks for your trade paper or your graphic novel, and I hate it, I ain't buying another one from you. And I've got a couple like that. I've got a couple like, I'm not. I dropped $45 for your hardcover graphic novel. Yeah, I'm not buying another one from you. I'm sorry.
Have you ever seen any with the graphic novel? Because I know I always thought about that too, how expensive they can be. If somebody, say the graphic novel collects 4 issues, which is pretty standard. If somebody gave a link in the Kickstarter to go read the first issue for free, so you can actually read the first 25 issues and see if you liked it.
I've seen
come
quite
back.
a few.
That to me seems like, okay, I can try it out and see if I like it, and then want more.
I've seen quite a few that way, and I think that is I think when you're crowdfunding a bigger thing like that, I think that is an excellent idea.
Yeah.
Because then potential backers get to see, oh, here's the entire first issue, or here's 20 pages of the first 20 pages of the graphic novel.
See if you like it.
Yep. Yeah. See if you like it. I think that's a fantastic idea. All right, Brett, you want to swap back over to Pete now? Pete, share.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to go.
So does that answer the question, Kurtis?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been very fortunate. I'm part in the minority. Every Kickstarter that I've backed, everything worked out good. But
Yeah.
I think I keep it within a close circle, and like the stuff that JC Vaughn does and stuff like that. I've backed quite a few. Barry Gregory and stuff that Tommy's working on. Every single time, very professional. So I think I've been pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Well, you also
Yeah.
practice martial arts, so they could just be scared when you pledge. They're like, well, if he pledged, we got to get this done.
Yeah.
We send your book. That's
and-
the only book. We better get that book out. Get that one book
You know?
out.
Yeah, and I think you're pretty
It's my
selective.
fearful demeanor.
You're pretty selective, and I think that a lot of readers are that way. And I think I'm probably my selectivity comes in, is the book finished? Is the book finished, and does this look remotely interesting to me? Because I don't buy new Marvel and DC comics. I don't buy them. Haven't bought anything. Nothing new from Marvel and DC in more than a decade. Now, I will still go buy their trades. If we've collected the Avengers Defenders War in a trade.
Yeah.
I'm there, right? I'm going to get that. So it's not like that. I don't buy anything from them at all. But I don't buy any of their new content, mostly because when I flip through it for free, I had Marvel Unlimited for a couple of years, and I really tried to read a lot of their new stuff and just could not. I just couldn't finish most of it, I found that I would try to read something new, and then it would make me think of, man, this character used to be really cool. Let me go back and read something old, right? I would go back and read something old instead of anything new.
I haven't read Marvel DC stuff for a long time. A lot of the stuff I think I've mentioned on here before I get to the library. To read, and then if I like it, I will go hunt down and buy it or whatever. But I love independent comics. I don't know, that's been my jam for a few years. Anybody who's got a unique vision doing their own project, I don't know, there's some sort of energy with independent comics that I like a passion.
Well, somebody asked me one time. They said, "Well, why would you spend $10 on an independent comic that might be crap?" And I said, "Well, I mean, I like comic books, so I'm going to spend some money on comics. I would rather spend $10 on an indie comic that I find out is crap than go and drop $10 on Marvel and DC comics that I'm about 99% sure is going to be crap."
Right. They want you improving.
So I would rather take a chance on something new and help out a creator who's trying to chase their vision than to drop money in corporate coffers.
Well, I mean, is every movie that you've gone to see, is it always a winner? You go see movies,
Nope.
You get comics. It's everything. It's just, I mean, if you go to a restaurant, you see something different on the menu, you get it, you go, well, I didn't like that, I'm not going to get it again.
Right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's just the same with everything.
Yeah, I look at movies that way too. When I go to movie theaters, like, a movie, was it good? And I'm like, if it's not even that good or it's okay, I'm like, I paid my whatever $10 or whatever. I was entertained for an hour and a half. That's what I was paying for.
Yeah,
I'm going home, so it doesn't bother me. But yeah, now it's strange if this stuff, and I don't have you ever looked at Kickstarters, gone down, looked at the art is really great, but then they give preview pages, and if you start reading the preview page, you find out the writing is not good. Have you ever done that and then not backed it because of that? I'm just curious. Or the writing's not to your taste. Let's say that. Whether the writing's good, it's not to your taste.
Yeah, absolutely, I have. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a complete pack. Obviously, we're sold on comics initially because of the art.
Right.
If we're not drawn to the art immediately, I mean, there are someone said, "Oh, you should go check this out." I'll go look at it and I see the art and I'll go, "No, I don't think I'll check that one out."
Yeah.
It's like, nope, not to mine. It might be good, it might be a good story and all that, but when I see the art, I'm like, yeah, no, that's just, it's not art that I like, and so I move on. And so but in the same regard, if it's now okay, so there are some artists, right? So I'm gonna name somebody, for instance, pretty much anything Walter Simonson does, I will buy. I'm a huge fan of his style. I'm a huge fan of his stuff. But I will tell you this: when he did, and I hope he's not listening, when he did the Avengers, that was written by somebody who shall remain unnamed, I didn't buy that because I knew that it was, actually I flipped through it and I'm like, well, this art looks really good, but this writer is crap and I don't want to read this, right? So I didn't buy it. That's the only thing. I mean, I'm buying his Ragnarok that he's doing with IDW. I saw him post some pages today, some kind of Western thing he's doing. So, so that was kind of cool. Hey Barry, what's going on? Barry Branscombe. So all right, so the last question, our time is almost done here. So the last question I think I'm going to ask here is, if you were going to launch a Kickstarter tomorrow, what is the one thing that you as a creator would like to have on the Kickstarter? What would you like to see as a creator? And you can certainly approach it maybe as a fan too, something you would like to see, but maybe that you don't see on crowdfunders. What would you like to see?
Like something that I would want to do on my own. Like, say if I posted my own Kickstarter, something I would want to do that I don't see in other people's.
Yes.
That's interesting. I have to think about that. Because I have gone through and there's been some pretty creative, stuff.
Yeah.
I'm always a sucker, and this is beyond me, but I'm always a sucker for miniatures. And with the advent of 3D printing, every time somebody's like, "Hey, print my comic," or even a game, and like this, like a little printed miniature, even if it's unpainted, I don't know, there's something about like, yeah, I could put it on my little desk, and that would be cool.
You're gonna love to hear this. Alex Gallimore is actually working on a resource for us for some miniatures.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for those things. I used to buy board games if they had miniatures just for the miniatures. Like, is the game fun? I don't know. The miniatures are cool.
Now, would you paint them also then?
I can't paint. I have my friends that always tell me it's so easy, and I just need to get some ones that are like some cheap ones in practice. But I had a friend I worked with who used to do Warhammer, and he'd bring his stuff, and it was just amazing. Like, it was great. It was really cool to see his stuff.
I have a friend and former roommate who used to play used to do Napoleonics miniatures, and he had like the entire Napoleon's entire army all hand painted. He painted these tiny little miniatures. I would come in and see him with this big magnifying glass painting with a toothpick, and it's
crazy.
They looked great. You put them on the like, wow, he could
the
tell you
brush is like one hair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that's some cool stuff. And now with the advent of 3D printing, you could print so much of that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Curtis, what about you, man? What would you do?
Ooh, I have some ideas, but somebody might take them. So, like they say, the game is to be sold, not to be told. So,
well, just whisper it. Nobody's listening.
That's right.
Yeah, I think
I'm taking notes, Curtis.
Yeah, just in general. I mean, I'll kind of say broadly. I love behind the scenes kind of stuff. I love seeing the creative process, and so the more things I can see in that vein, that's the way to go for me. It kind of builds the world that I'm looking at in the book and embellishes everything, and it just gives added value to what I'm already reading. So I really love the behind the scenes.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so one of the things, I don't know if you recall this or not, Curtis, but one of the things that we like to do with the Silverline campaigns is we have the extras, right? And the extras is just a DVD, just a PDF that has all the sketches. This is why, Pete, I sent you the message earlier. I said, hey, be sure that you save those scan those for me, because what we do then is we send any and all sketches that we have, like for the one we just did. So we'll send out the scripts for Divinity #1. We'll send out the script for Twilight Grim, even all the handwritten stuff that RA did. Thought I had it handy. All the character designs and sketches for that. We also include little surprise little videos from the creators that it's been kind of fun to do. I think I've even got and I don't think I put it in with Cat and Mouse 2. I think I was going to put it in with Cat and Mouse 3. So I have a fan sent me, and I can't remember his name, and I apologize if you listen to this. A fan sent me his role-playing sheets of Tooth and Nail. I think it was Champion. It's either Champions or Villains and Vigilantes. I can't remember. But he had taken the villains and rolled them up as villains in his world. And he sent me the sheets so that I could use that as extras. So, I mean, how cool is that? So, it's a little thing, and it's not, neither here nor there, but he shared it with me so that, we're able to share it with others. So Yeah, I like to see the cool things like that. Cool idea. Becca, what about you?
I'm an avid pin collector.
Really?
Yes, and
So like enamel pins?
Yeah, like the enamel. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Like big pins, the big markers.
Not like this,
that
right?
too.
Ballpoint pens?
I have
Yeah.
an insane amount of big pens in every color. But
I got a bunch of pens. You want some pens? Here's a bunch of pens.
I always take. I'll
Okay.
steal pens.
So
But
you'll probably like this then. This is done by our friend Mitch Foust.
I
Wow.
love that.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Yes.
This is Mitch Foust, who is certainly a friend of Silverline. He does an annual Kickstarter for his The Art of Mitch Foust, and I backed that. And this is something that went out with his last Kickstarter, and it is gorgeous. Yeah, I will tell you this, Becca. I'm kind of jonesing for some Silverline pins.
Yeah, they would be awesome.
Yeah.
I used to do pins a while back.
So where would you put yours?
Where would I put mine? I used to keep them all on my hat, but it got really heavy. And
well, now you're going to put it on your mask. So when you're out shopping,
yeah.
Stab my face constantly.
You got to put the backer on
right now. Yeah, because I want to get a shadow box to put them in.
Oh, cool.
But now I have them on a dish because I kept losing the backs to them.
Yeah.
There were the rubber backs. There went through the metal box.
Yeah.
But
Could you
wouldn't put them on a backpack?
Like yeah.
You because I see a lot of them at conventions on backpacks, like the straps for the backpacks and things like that.
Yeah. So a lot of the pins I get have the rubber backs that are for the hat pins, so you're not, like getting your but even like the traditional metal ones, I'm, as you all are aware, am a klutz, and I get caught on things constantly, and like everything I own has like hairs in them, and because I'm just constantly getting stuck on doors and stuff, so I've lost pins that way.
Wow.
Just trying to get in and out of my car, so I try not to wear them out.
I need to see some video of you pitching. It's hard for me to imagine you being a klutz and pitching.
And doing sport? Yeah. I don't even know. That was so long ago. I don't even know if there are videos of me.
That was back in the day before video, huh, Becca?
Yeah, no.
Back then, yeah.
All right, Pete. What about you? If you were doing a Kickstarter tomorrow, what thing would you want to see on the Kickstarter?
I mean, what type of book, or what type of
rewards? Obviously, the book is going to be the thing, right? But what kind of extra reward would you like to see on a Kickstarter?
For me, I like getting commissions from artists and things. So I know we'll probably do that anyway, but that for me is what attracts me to anything. If I can get an original piece of art or an original page from the actual book I'm buying, then it's probably the higher end tier. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But that's what I want.
But a lot of times you can get them from a Kickstarter cheaper than you can get them from.
Oh yeah, I've paid hundreds of pounds for stuff at conventions.
Yeah.
And then some of them, you've got them and they're like, oh, he rushed this one out. But, never mind. But no, but some of it, yeah. But that's what I love. I love the original art.
Original art, yeah.
Sketch cards. I do a lot of sketch cards for Upper Deck and Dynamite, and they usually sell quite well at conventions. I think people like those.
Those have kind of gone away over here, haven't they, Tommy? The sketch cards.
We offer them at Kablam, and we not trading cards, stuff with the things already printed. But as far as sketch card, people don't take us.
What about sketch covers, Pete?
Oh yeah.
Thanks for all the likes there.
They They go. I get at conventions. That's primarily what people bring, and they bring their own covers up and say, "Oh, will you draw this on my cover?" I said, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
Some of those are pretty good. Some of the quality of those, some of them it's like plastic. You just can't draw on them. But,
so one of the advantages of using Kablam as a printer is that Kablam, the two partners at Kablam are comic book creators themselves.
Oh, that's interesting.
So when they oh, thank you for the hugs there. I'm seeing hugs go up on the screen. So the two guys, when they print stuff out, they're able to like put a pencil to the paper and say, oh, this is no good, we can't draw on this, right? Yeah. So they're not just quote unquote, they're not just printers, they're comic creators too. So when they make it, they're able to see what it's like from the creator's point of view. So how'd that do, Tommy?
Yeah, you did great.
Thanks. Yeah.
I've got a couple of things for.
Hey, Steve Conley, what's going on?
Yep, we like Steve. He's great. Now, the well, you were talking about stuff for Kickstarter things. See, we've got pages that we're going to have for the Trumps. That's why, even though I'm making a lot of things digital, we still have a bunch of pages that I'm actually doing traditional, so we can have all those.
Right.
But the one thing that I wish people would do, we don't see it happen too much. Of course, Kablam, we do order fulfillment for Kickstarter too, so we see a lot of Kickstarters coming through. Of course, the Silverline stuff, but we see a bunch of them that we're 2 or 3 times a week we're doing Kickstarter stuff. But one thing that people don't take advantage of is something that you can use for reward levels. And this is not like a secret or anything. Printing special versions of the books that could be an award level for, you can have your regular books, your regular, your rewards and stuff. But, for $50, you could have a special cover printed with your picture of, a drawing of you on the cover, or logos from your stores, or the comic shops. So you do a bunch of those, Roland.
But we do that
because the cost to print the regular edition book is the same as it is to print a special version of the book. You just have to go through the trouble of producing the art and and all that kind of stuff. But having special covers or have a special book where have a character in it that if somebody wants to have their kid drawn in the comic, and just and have 2 or 3 copies of that particular book printed, those are great reward levels that you can have done. So that don't cost you anything,
right?
No, you're already printing the book. It's just the time of you doing the art. So that's some things that can be done that won't cost you anything, and you could charge a lot for those reward levels.
Yeah, Alex Gallimore has been pushing me to do variant covers.
Yes,
and part of my
specific variant covers, not just variant cover A, B, C. Have one that you only print like 3 of, so it's very limited. That kind of things, you could do those. Really,
I don't. If that's what he was suggesting, I don't know that I understood that.
No, I'm not sure, but getting back to my other thing, you could do very limited copies.
Part of me's trying to figure out how to work those in. How do you work in a variant cover? And he's we should do variant covers. We should do variant covers. And I know he thinks that I'm not listening to him. I am, but part of it is like, how do we make it work within our Kickstarter? Because you don't want to just say, hey, when we reach this amount, everybody gets a variant cover.
Right.
That's a whole nother book you're sending out with a variant cover, and that's costly, and so I don't know. Part of it is just figuring out how to make it work. Well, I hadn't thought about, hey, there's 10 versions of this one cover. That's gone.
That's it. That's all you print.
I think people used to do that beforehand. I think on the old Kickstarters they would do that. There was so many copies of a variant cover. I thought that was still going.
Well, see, like, well, ours is like, we have the Kickstarter exclusive cover. So when you get the Kickstarter version,
right,
that's the only place you'll be able to get that cover on the book. So you can still buy the book, right? And we may even put the artwork on a print somewhere down the line, but you'll never be able to get outside of Kickstarter. You'll never be able to get that art on that book as a cover again.
So if you were to say print it
we-
and ship
if we
it
get
to like
300
comic shops or something, it would be a different cover.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's kind of
absolutely.
cool. All right.
Wubba said he'll volunteer for a variant. You know, Wubba, you should be Wubba, you should be in contact by John Medic shortly if you haven't already been. Yeah. So for me, part of it is just figuring out how to make the variants work within the Kickstarters. Mike, what about you? What do you want to see if you were to run a Kickstarter tomorrow? What do you want to see?
Well, I guess you can pretty much tell I've thought about it. Something I thought about putting on my table too. A mask for my particular
cool.
situation. I would not a little cheap plastic mask or a paper mask. It would be a nice, something you'd want to, as a keepsake. I mean, it's just shows you that
that'd be cool.
It goes along with goes along with my particular book, and I think that would be more of a kind of a touchstone. So that's something I've definitely thought about.
Have you actually looked around and priced any of those?
I've looked around. I've thought about putting them on some on my table just to see what kind of reaction I get.
Yeah.
But I definitely a Kickstarter reward would definitely be a mask.
Yeah, that would be very cool. Very cool. Did I ask everybody? Aaron, did I ask you?
Yes. Or at least I volunteered, I think.
Yeah, Tommy.
I think I volunteered my information first.
That's okay. Yeah. So this is. Anybody got any other thoughts on crowdfunders? I don't want to get into Kickstarter versus Indiegogo or anything like that. I think they're both legit platforms.
Yeah.
I don't know that I think they both have strengths. And eventually we're going to go to Indiegogo and do some stuff there, try to figure it out. My first thought was actually to take a Switchblade and another book that we get colored. Once we can finish one of our older black and whites and get those colored, and maybe Indiegogo 2 graphic novels there.
I did see something today, and I don't know if I saw it wrong. I was trying to check it out, but it looked like somebody's actually kickstarting a project and kickstarting Indigo at the same time. Like it was the exact same project.
Yeah.
Doing the same, and I don't know.
You think they'd be cool with that?
Yeah, I don't know, but
I saw someone post that it's not against either of the platform's rules to do it.
Yeah, I wonder what the benefit would be. It would seem like
they're 2 different audiences. Actually, they're
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, they really. I mean, there's some overlap, but they really are legitimately 2 different audiences. There are some people I've seen people post. I actually saw someone do a Twitter poll one time. Do you support Kickstarters only, Indiegogos only, or both? Right? You'd be surprised at the number of said only Kickstarters or only Indiegogos. That actually surprised me. Hey,
yeah,
Thomas
I guess.
And Talek. Hope I said your last name right. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, there are certainly 2 different audiences for the platform. So I think there's I think there's some.
Well, just real quick, what's the difference between the 2?
So the difference, the big difference between the 2 is on Kickstarter, it's a all or nothing. You have to make your goal in order to get any of the funds, right? So if you set if your goal on Kickstarter is $1,000 and you don't make 1,000, if you make 999, you don't get any of it.
Yep.
Right? If you go to Indiegogo, you set your crowdfund at $1,000 and you get $10, you get the $10. So you don't have to meet your goal on Indiegogo. Yeah, so that's the and from a supporter point of view, Kickstarter doesn't take your funds until the project has finished. So yep, they don't collect any of the funds until the project is over. You pledge on Indiegogo, they take your funds immediately.
Oh really? Okay.
Yep. So like for instance, like the Silverline double feature that we just completed. We have 8 errored backers, totaling probably 1, 2, 3. Looks like about $300. Okay, and what this means usually is that the backer's card has expired, and they just have to go in and update their card with the date and all that kind of stuff. Usually that's what it means. Obviously, sometimes they're overdrawn or something like that. But yeah, so we have close to $300 in backers that have not cleared the cards yet. And so you wouldn't run into that at Indiegogo. It would do it
It would have
immediately.
done it as soon as you say, I
Right.
want to contribute. Then
or
you'd
it would
pick
reject
up.
them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, those are the basic differences.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know there was a different audience. That seems weird.
yeah, it does seem weird. It seemed like
Yeah.
it'd be
I'd be
a lot of
curious to,
crossover.
yeah, I'd be curious to talk to somebody who I'm only Indiegogo or like Kickstarter, find out the
Yeah.
reasons why. Is there? I mean, have they been screwed over by one? Is that why they go for? Yeah.
I believe that is the case. Yes,
Okay.
for a lot of the comments that I saw.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, we're eventually going to. I just from my perspective, I've just got to figure out what's the right thing to take to Indiegogo. We're going to go there. I don't feel good about taking like Cat and Mouse #1, but I might be able to take Switchblade and another graphic novel there, something that's complete, and we can offer that. We can offer that to them there. So
yeah,
I just gotta come up with the right projects to go there and find some more hours in the day.
Yeah.
So we're gonna call it's 11 o'clock. So we're gonna call it a night. Thank you all for such amazing participation. You artists, thank you for sharing your screens and let us watch you.
No problem.
We're going to go through the list as we always do and tell people where they can find you on social media. Kurtis, where can people find you on the social medias?
Sure. You can find me on Facebook. It's Kurtis with a K, last name Fujita. And also, as somebody mentioned, I am a martial arts instructor. So you can find me in my martial arts school, Tiger Crane Kung Fu, on Facebook, Tiger Crane 805 on YouTube and Instagram. Thank you.
And Kurtis has done some really awesome at home, in light of our quarantine, has done some really awesome at home training for his students and just for anyone. You can follow along. He does some really, really good, very clear instructions that I think has been very cool to see. And so just so that you know, if you're watching and you're like, oh, I couldn't write all that down so quick, because of Kurtis, I'm going to put all that stuff in the proper place, all the links so that you can go. Becca, how about you? Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at comic art underscore. It's weirdly spelled, but you said you're going to post it up.
I am. I'll post it.
Twitter, that I keep forgetting I have. Also, there's not that much content there. I have a Behance, which is just my name, Rebecca Winslow, and I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll post whatever you've sent me.
Yeah. That's me.
Aaron, what about you? Where can people find you on the social medias?
Facebook. My art page is Humphres Illustration, and HUMPHRES, and it'll be below. And then I do Instagram at ALH, my initials 3810. That's my handle. And then I have Humphres Illustration, which is my portfolio website. And then I have a store at Big Cartel that you can buy other things that I make. And so I'm building up my presence on the interwebs. So
Yep.
those are the main areas you can find me.
Cool. Tommy, what about you?
Sorry, you can also find my comic on Webtoons under Godlings. Sorry.
Cool.
If you just search that.
If you didn't send me that link, send it to me and I'll make sure to add it.
Okay.
Tommy, what about you? Where can people find you?
Well, Thomas Florimonte Jr. You can on all the different social media places. You can just look up my name. I'm pretty much the only one there. My personal website is Inferno Studios. You can kind of see it up there, but just look for Florimonte, and that's I'll be the only one. So.
It actually looks like it's burning little holes.
I know, it's messing up. It's clipping. It's clipping out. Here, let's put the flame thing on there. That looks better.
Pete, what about you? Where can people find you on the social medias?
Oh, it's pretty easy. I'm Instagram, I'm Twitter, I'm Facebook, and it's all Peter Clinton Art.
Peter Clinton Art.
Nice and simple.
And Mike, what about you? Where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Best place is my publishing book, or my publishing page, amkcomics.com. I've got the Facebook link, Twitter link, Instagram link, everything you need right there.
Excellent.
Very
and you can find me on Facebook, Roland Mann. You can find me on Twitter at ManRoland. I'm on Instagram, but I don't really remember. Probably just Roland Mann there. I don't remember what it is. But certainly, wherever you're watching it, whether you're watching it on our recorded YouTube stream, on our Twitch, or on Facebook, please remember to like and subscribe and love and all that other kind of stuff. Whatever you're supposed to do on whatever medium you're watching us on, please do that. Everything helps us. Share it out. SilverlineComics.com is our website. We try to post there once a week. We keep you updated. We also have a MailChimp email list that you get some of the inside information sometimes. We need to do a little bit more of that, but there's only so many hours in a day. And Pete, Mike, we'll see you back next week.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Excellent. So tomorrow night, Thomas Florimonte, we're going to have the first Silverline one-on-one. Tommy and I will just sit down and we'll have a conversation, and we're gonna get all the good juicy information about Tommy and his life.
You know too much stuff. We don't need to let everybody know everything.
And his love of comics and his career, and what he does, what he reads.
It's gonna be really short.
Anything that we can squeeze out of Tommy. He's going to be our first one-on-one. That'll be tomorrow night at 9 p.m. And then Sid and the Wednesday crew will be back Wednesday night at 9 p.m. And until I don't have my armband on this time.
No.
Until that happens, everyone, make mine Silverline.
Mine Silverline.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Everyone.
Keep your hands clean. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your face.